Hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fred Burke, also known as the Wholesale Mentor, and what I'd like to go over is a few essential contract clauses. These clauses are also known as escape clauses and also known as weasel clauses throughout the industry. The further you get into your real estate investing career, you're bound to come across deals that involve real estate agents. Real estate agents operate with normally state-specified contracts, which are governed by either their state or by their real estate commission. Problem is, these contracts are not designed to protect you as an investor. So you're going to need to learn how to take any standard agreement and modify it so you have a way to get out of the contract if you need to without any penalties. These clauses are what are also known as weasel clauses, again, throughout the business. And here are a few of the clauses that you may be able to use, you should be able to use with no problem. Now, here the following are some essential clauses I may use when buying a property. First of all, when you sign your name, you want to sign your name Mr. Smith and or assigns. You can also sign it Mr. Smith and or nominees. Now, and or assigns is, as the buyer, you want to have the right to assign your contract. By placing your name with these words and or assigns, you automatically give yourself the right. The words and or nominees is not as broad, but it has been interpreted as giving the buyer the right to place title in the name of a trust. So I would simply stick with the and or assigns. Now, just a note for you, if there's in the contract, if there's a clause containing an anti-assignment provision, you must cross that out and put N/A, non-applicable. Second one is an inspection clause. You have the right to make the contract contingent upon your right to do a thorough inspection before a certain date. Make sure you are not required to hire a professional inspector and that the inspection clause permits you to cancel the contract if there are any things wrong with the property and the seller is not willing to fix these or reduce the price. Another clause is choice of escrow company. As the buyer, insist on the right to choose the title or escrow company so that you remain in control. A conservative or uncooperative escrow or title company can make life very difficult if you are trying to do a creative deal. So basically, as part of your team members, you need to have a title company. So you want to use your title company as much as possible. They're familiar with what you do, how you operate, whether you're using land trust, corporations, assignment fees, double closes. You need to have a good title company on your team. So you want to be able to go ahead and use them whenever possible. Another one is the right to extend. Most contracts call for a date certain for closing. If the buyer is not ready to close, the seller can hold him in default. Here are some tips for buying time. Make the closing date on or about, let's say, June 1st. What does on or about mean? Not quite sure, but it certainly means later than June 1st. Have the right to extend the closing date if it is not your fault. For example, said date may be extended an additional 15 days if lender requires additional documentation, paperwork, or actions from the buyer, and said delay is not due to the fault of the buyer. That's just one way. Also, have the right to extend for 30 days by paying the seller an extra, let's say, $100, if that's something that you agree to. Another contingency is this offer is contingent upon the buyer obtaining financing from, let's use from his lender, ABC Mortgage, which normally you'll be using a hard money lender, if anything at all. Again, you want to use whatever your hard money lender's name is. So this offer is contingent upon the buyer obtaining financing from ABC lender And if you have no money and the hard money lender will only lend you part of what you need, then you will be able to use this contingency to get out of the contract without any penalties, because the buyer, the money lender, will not lend you the money that you need. So basically, you're not approved for that loan. So you should be able to get out using that contingency. So again, these are different ways to go ahead and get used to using a state specified contract and getting familiar with them and having your contingencies in your contract to be able to get out of the contract if you need to. If your intent is to wholesale this house and you can't wholesale this house, the last thing you want to do is have to pay X amount of dollars because you couldn't wholesale it. So make sure that you have a good exit strategy and a backdoor plan just in case. Again, this is Fred Burke with TotalFinancialLiberty.com. Also, www.theaffordablementor.com, where you can sign up for my free videos. Until next video, we'll see you then.